Hi, welcome back to me. We've got Bitcoin still at 117,000. Not a lot has happened. Not a lot of news came out today, so it's going to be another one of those slow days. I know it's a Monday. We did get a bit of volatility, but that's just from, markets opening and whatnot. But nothing too crazy, nothing out of the ordinary. We're still on our game plan. Things are still moving as planned. We're still on an uptrend, right? That's still happening. That invalidates if we drop below 115,000 and break 114,600 specifically, which is, it could happen, but I don't think it will. We did use pivot as our resistance level, which I left you guys off yesterday right over here. We were on the rise a little bit. We actually ended up hitting a 24 high of 116,000 and since then have dropped. Lowest point we had, where is my low point? No, 116,000 was our low point. Sorry, 119,000 was our high point. Right over here. I'm blind. So, yeah, we've already kind of recovered from that. We're at 116,000 now. So, it's looking pretty good. Just gonna take a while longer before we bounce off from this uptrend line into something bigger, which should hopefully happen with the fundamentals that could be coming out tomorrow. If you're not aware, Jerome Powell will be delivering a speech tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I won't be streaming tomorrow, but Wednesday I will likely be streaming. We'll go over and review what he says. I kind of predicted in yesterday's stream he's probably not going to mention anything too crazy, honestly speaking. But in the case that he does, I'm hoping that it is bullish. Of course, you're not going to predict what Jerome Powell says based off of purely technical analysis. Those things are completely separate. Technical analysis only works until it doesn't, until some fundamental news comes in and just obliterates whatever lines you've been drawing, which has happened a lot of times in the past, of course. So in the event where we're not getting a lot of news, yeah, you would want to kind of zoom in a little bit and, use your technical analysis. It won't really work in something like a 4-hour chart because 4-hour chart is more prone to actually seeing the large scale movement of whenever news comes out, anything that can impact the market to a high degree. So if you really want to trade, like in terms of technical analysis, it's recommended to do like 1-hour charts, 5 minutes to find entries, stuff like that. As long as, of course, you know that there's no major news event going to be coming up to disrupt your trade, whatever you're going to do. But I'm far past that. I will not be doing that for now. I just do my own thing, enter whenever I feel is appropriate. My pump.fund position has actually gone negative. We'll be discussing that later on as well. So, a bit of everything kind of happened. Seems like altcoins are taking a bit of a breather from their rise of yesterday. I'm probably lying here. Solana's up 9% for whatever reason. And hey, look at that. Reached a high of $199.44. It's almost 200. Clearly a support there at the 200 psychological level. Super trend is on the rise and validates at 174, which coincides with this pivot level over here as well. And also practically this uptrend line that I've had drawn over here. Looking really good for Solana, just up 8-9% today. Current price is $196.13. Pretty good stuff for Solana there. Just wanted to kind of point that out. The rest of the coins seem relatively normal. I don't understand. Solana go up, pump.fund based off Solana. Go down. Why? We shall see. I do want to talk about Ethereum. We're at 3,726. Not a lot of change since the past 24 hours. Highest point we reached $3,859.84. Of course, we only have one more downtrend line, which is this one from a very, very long-term downtrend line that we have. Basically from our actual all-time high in November 2021 to our high that we reached in December 2024. We're very close to breaking that out. I've removed some of my take profits on Ethereum because I have a bigger vision for this. I think it will continue to go higher, and I'm not alone on this. A lot of whales are also being very bullish on Ethereum, which I'll get to whenever we discuss our little news segment. And look at this weekly super trend also on the rise over here, just completely spiking up. Doesn't look like there's any stop in sight. So we'll see how it plays out, of course. Moving on to XRP, $3.50, just relaxing there at practically the top, right? We did achieve a new all-time high previously. That was at $3.66. We actually tried to break out and continue higher, but unfortunately we couldn't. So we do have a clear resistance over here for XRP. $3.66, right? We reached a high of $3.65 today. Right now we are on our way down, currently at a low point. 342 was the lowest point. I think that was from 24 hours ago over here, this low point. So right now we're at 350. We have a pivot support at 331 and uptrend invalidates. It's telling me from the super trend at 314. I don't think we're going to crash lower than that. Any correction would just lead us down here. 5% correction seems to be normal for the foreseeable future of XRP. In the case we do drop, I'm not saying that we will. I think we will continue to higher. Moving on, the reason I'm expecting us to continue higher, by the way, before I move on, is because of Bitcoin's price action. We were approaching this uptrend line, and it's just likely that Bitcoin's going to do this to try to test the all-time high, the 123,000, again from here. Like I said, we're not too far off, 4 or 5%, very close to achieving that. It's a movement, percentage-wise, that we can see Bitcoin do. It's normal. So maybe we can expect that. Would be pretty good. Sui is at 391. Kind of struggling to stay above $4 over here, but we've got decent supports. Pivot level is at 389, so we're very close to approaching that, but I think we could be oscillating around the zone for a while. Breakout above $4 though would be most important. From there we do have a resistance at, what would you call this, 425, 429. I have this level drawn from very long ago. I think weekly chart is a bit too harsh. No, it's fine. You can see, right, the kind of, what would you call this, resistance we're kind of seeing over here, right, around this zone. I accidentally moved that. And we're kind of hovering around, of course, this this resistance level that we have from Fibonacci retracement for resistance zones specifically, and that happens to coincide around $4, and that's why we're kind of struggling to break out of that at the moment. Moving on to Cardano is at 87 cents. It's also slowed down over here. New pivot level was generated and it worked pretty well at determining where this high was. We reached a high of 93 cents. This actually happened today. Yeah, this morning. Okay. Good run for Cardano, but since then it's kind of come back down again and we're at 87. Really close to... I wonder when this downtrend line is from. I'm also kind of yawning here. It's from here, but we do have, of course, longer term one if you really want to count this one from 2021. I think we might have already broken this, right? Let me draw it just to be sure. No, it's kind of the same deal, right? We're approaching those two nonetheless, right? If I go back to zooming in over here. Also, yeah, this Fibonacci, it's invalid, right? We've already broken through all these resistances. You can kind of determine 86 would be a support level, so I will just keep that marked just in case, because that was a high point that we reached over here, 86 cents. And we're at 88 right now. This is what I agree with this kind of analysis. If we do drop, it could be around this zone. I don't think we're going to like approach this pivot support. It's too far in my opinion. I would also kind of invalidate partially this temporary uptrend line. I guess, yeah, it's easy to break this in that sense. Because hypothetically, we could still drop to 76 and then bounce up. We'd still be in an uptrend. Like that would be normal price movement in an uptrend. Depends on how hard a sell-off, if there is one, would reflect on the chart, right? But clear resistance, of course, over here. So we're going to need more ammo, I guess, before we recharge and continue rising higher. Breaking out of that, then this is the absolute one resistance around, what would this be, 97 probably. That would be for the final downtrend line since Cardano's all-time high, which would be a very bullish signal, because from there, you just don't have an uptrend, I mean, downtrend anymore, right? Like, no matter how far back you go with this chart, you will not have any more downtrend once you do break out of 97. From there, of course, $1 psychological resistance, and you also have a R2 very close to it, $1.01. So that's the last point we could really see some hard resistance from bears, shorts, but breaking out of $1 for Cardano, it's looking more possible every day, more and more possible by the day. Cool. Litecoin, it's at $114, actually down 2.78%. Reached a high of 121. Similar deal with Litecoin, attempting to, break out of this downtrend, but unfortunately was not able to. I want to see how far back I have this one drawn. It must be a while back. This is also similar deal to what we're seeing with Cardano. So Litecoin and Cardano actually having a similar kind of breakout structure attempt that we could be seeing soon. Of course, look at this super trend as well in the weekly chart for Litecoin. It's invalidating at 126, meaning if we break out, maybe 129 where we have this Fibonacci resistance, or you can even say 130 if you want a psychological level, something easy to remember. Litecoin breaking out of 130, you've got a confirmed uptrend. That's, indicators for all season. Altcoin interest is coming back, and I do have an article on that we'll discuss later on. I want to confirm this, if this exact same thing is happening with Cardano, like the downtrend specifically. Yeah, literally the exact same thing. And that's looking at 96. So scratch what I said about the 97 thing. Maybe look closer to 96. I was pretty close, actually. 96 cents with like 73. That's almost 97 cents. So yeah, I was pretty close. This would mean the super trend would invalidate, and of course, in a weekly chart, when the super trend is green, you should expect something good like that to continue rising for a while. So we'll see what happens next. I'm in pump.fund currently. That's not looking good. I put this in a weekly chart. I'm gonna go back to a 4-hour chart. It doesn't look that bad if you're going back here. It's basically right where I entered once again. If you want to kind of copy what I did, I wouldn't suggest it because I'm really dumb, but you can still do it. I'd probably even suggest going as far as 0. Where this super trend line is 0.003824. There's a possible entry. Don't put too much DCA, I would suggest. You got a support level at 0.003266. I used 3x, so I'm liquidated over here at 0.002774. I'm probably just gonna, it's not a big position. I'll just add enough. I won't even add a margin. I'll just enter a new position, and it will kind of average the two of them out. I think that's what I'm likely gonna do. I have the possibility of doing that here. I could do, I'll do it right now. Like, this is my game plan. 0.003824. I'm content to draw up another $300 on here, which from here to here, it's 6.85%. Now, I'm not a math expert, but 6.85% divided by 2, according to my calculator, is 3.425, which, it's going to be like around there. Your new average price at 0.003953. Ideally, right? If I'm doing another 303x position, my liquidation price should slightly drop. Nothing too crazy, right? Like, it's probably going to drop not even 1%. We'll see what happens. I'm going to put this long over here. Right there. And, hey, if push comes to shove, I'll consider entering another entry over here. Depending on how bad things are, I don't think they're going to be that bad. Like, I think this is just a small time correction. So I'd rather like double down on my position, improve my average price, and take off potentially getting more gains out of this is what my vision is right now. Like, this could be a double bottom, right? And we can probably continue higher from there. And if this does become a, if this does flip negative, then I'll consider, adding margin first, which would drop my liquidation price to, I could drop it to 0, no problem, by just adding What is 6 times 3 divided by, no, never mind, 6 times 2, 12, right? $1,200, which I have 2,000 available, minus 300 because I have this pending order trigger here. Don't let me do math here. 1,700 is what I'd have, minus, what did I just say, 1,200? Then I'd have $500. Yeah, I could use that $500 to enter any lower position anywhere I want, because I would have practically reinforced all my position to 0. Ideally, I don't even have to do that. Like, I think 0 is obviously an exaggeration. Like, I could just go to, like, whatever, 0.001. Like, that would still give me a bit more available margin. And then I'd enter another position whenever I feel comfortable, right? Maybe I'll wait for super trends to flip bullish once again, or maybe relative strength index looking whenever that is oversold for a period of time, because I don't have that many entries available on this account. This is the account that I'm just using to trade live with you guys, but that's it. That would be my mentality behind this, so to speak. And also with Sonic, Sonic's been holding up pretty good, actually. I already made some good profit on it, like bought over there, sold up here, no big deal, just timing the bottoms and timing the tops like it's what I do anyway. What is this? I'm not crazy, right? You guys see that? That matched perfectly, surprisingly. I bet I could draw one of these, what even is it? There's like these weird Fibonacci things, like one of these, a fan, or I never tried any of these before. Spiral, wedge, pitch fan, Gann, square. I've never, like I said, I've never done none of this stuff before, so I'm probably just crazy. Hey, Befip channel. What if I... Okay, no. Well, how does this work? That's crazy. Like, the fact that people genuinely use this. Nah, this is not for me. I don't know who in the right mind would actually use that. Like, in the real world scenario, right? Just slightly readjust this. It's practically like there. What would you even call this pattern? Go ahead and tell me in the comments. All right, cool. Moving on. I think it's time we can talk about our little news segment. I will not be entering Sonic yet, by the way. Oh, Bitcoin is currently dropping 116,000. Oh, what is happening? It's probably just normal correction. It's no big deal, honestly. Like I said, we can still drop 215,000. Wouldn't phase me at all. I'll be fine with it. I'm expecting a bounce from that either way. And look at that already. Like, price action is in motion, right? So already some rejection going on as soon as we reach this low point, touching right on that uptrend. Happening live. Who knows? Maybe I'll embarrass myself live. We'll come back to it later. All right. Well, good stuff about crypto as well, and what you should be happy about, whether you agree with Trump or disagree with Trump. He at least is still focused on cryptocurrency, which is, it should be keeping us satisfied, at least for now, right? Trump says that the financial system is decades out of date and that crypto fixes it. So, of course, he does want crypto to be the future for the United States. He does plan on making the United States the crypto capital of the world, all stuff that we've heard of before. Last week, the passing of all those 3 bills that are pro-cryptocurrencies, it should give us a nice little boost in the market. I mean, thanks to that, we did see a bit of volatility last week, right? That's why Bitcoin reached 123,000. That's why also Bitcoin dropped to 115,600, right? Both fear and greed, right? Fear, of course, that, oh, what if, this opens a backdoor to central bank digital currencies? Maybe the congressmen and women will not pass the House vote or whatever. But ultimately, they all passed, so yeah. This was more of a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of deal, but still ended up being positive for Bitcoin and crypto. And we actually didn't see too much craziness happening for Bitcoin specifically. Like, this is just Bitcoin staying in a range zone, right? So it's good that nothing got like crashed severely, right? We're still in it. Uptrend still prevails, so that's good. And we actually saw some good movements from the other altcoins, right? Small correction. See, this is like nothing. We already bounced all the way back up to 116,000. Look at that volatility. Crazy stuff. All right, cool. So, yeah, good stuff. We have got backing from Trump. And guess what? Trump media also reported that they bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin and Bitcoin-related securities. So he's putting his money where his mouth is, practically, right? This probably has to do with the Trump media announcement that they were going to be launching a blue chip crypto ETF that would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, not Cardano, Kronos, XRP, and Solana. They excluded Cardano for Kronos. Yeah, so we don't know when that's going to happen. It's still waiting for approval from the Securities Exchange Commission, which the chair of the SEC is no longer Gary Gensler. We now have a pro-crypto SEC chair, so that should be pretty good. Yesterday I reported that Michael Saylor, obviously showing that chart, means that the next day he's going to report that he's bought some Bitcoin. And that's what he did. Although it wasn't, never mind, I was going to say it wasn't enough. I thought I saw like 100,000 that he bought. No, he actually bought $739 million worth of Bitcoin, 6,220. At an average price of 118,940 per Bitcoin, and you don't care about the yield. They now hold 607,000 Bitcoins. Last time I reported this, they just crossed the 600,000 mark. They now have 6,000 more Bitcoin, so that's 607,000 that they currently have. Pretty good. And even still, their average price is 71,000 per Bitcoin. And you have Bitcoin. Is that double? Is my math wrong here? It's wrong, yeah. We're not double yet. 140,000 would be double. Which that can happen, by the way. A lot of stuff are pointing towards that. And on top of this, MicroStrategy is offering STRC as a new ticker, Stretch. So it's going to be a perpetual preferred stock via IPO to select investors, is what he said. Can I see what this... No, let me read this. It's just a disclaimer. I'm not reading all that. Well, he gave a half an hour presentation over here, just patting himself on the back, I guess, for his other companies. And Stretch is strong credit. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what other information to find about this. More information, you can find that over here practically. And it's also posted on YouTube. All right. Well, what does Grok even say, actually? MicroStrategy's new senior perpetual preferred stock offered via IPO at, it's going to be $100 per share to select investors. I wonder what it means by that. It features a variable monthly dividend starting at 9%. Wow. Designed for price stability via ATM at the money issuances and call options. That's what that means. Backed by MicroStrategy's Bitcoin holdings, it targets low volatility, high yield credit for short duration investors. That is interesting. Okay. And I know that he has other companies that do this as well, which he posted over here somewhere. MicroStrategy Strike. Is it Strike or... I think it is Strike. Strife and... What is STRD? I never heard of this, actually. Does it even exist? Stride. So Strike, Strife, Stride, and then Stretch. Interesting. He's put in like STR everything, right? Strategy is MSTR. You get the point. So he's making big moves. That's good. James Wynn, I reported on him yesterday. I gave a little backstory on him as well. He opened Ethereum and Pepe Longs, and he closed them for profit today. Just thought I'd give you guys a little update on that. Some whale activity that we can all see on, you know, the power of the blockchain with Hyperliquid, the decentralized exchange. So he closed for $546,000 in profit. Next, he went on Doge, 10x leverage, position of $61.5 million, liquidation price of 25 cents. he's also still bullish. Now keep this in mind. I'm going to be pointing out a couple of whales that are bullish. Well, you already got Donald Trump, I guess, $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Come on. That's some whale activity. MicroStrategy buying $700 million. There you go. James Nguyen also, well, I guess taking some profits, but just entering Doge for whatever reason. Sure, I'm assuming he's going to probably close this position by tomorrow or a day after. But a bullish outlook nonetheless. So that's good. And we also have Aguila Trades. This guy fully closed his Ethereum short position. Keep in mind, this guy's shorting Ethereum, which he's not alone. A lot of whales were doing that. Lost $8 million and flipped long. So now he has a bullish outlook on Ethereum. Another whale with bullish outlook for what's likely to be coming up soon. He actually, this is like terrible way of trading and just losing millions of dollars, but it is what it is, I guess. From $35 million in losses to then $3 million in profits, and now back to a loss of $27 million. I don't know, this guy's all over the place, but hey, long on Ethereum now, so that's pretty good, I guess. Grok 4, also more powerful version AI of Grok 3, of course. Grok gave updated long-term Bitcoin targets for this year, 2025, at 175,000. And if you know me, that's almost where I have my targets at as well. Like I know I mentioned, 122,000 was the first one, which we just hit. We hit 123. Next is looking at 135,000, which I'm expecting, if things go well, maybe by August. And then I'm assuming by end of year, Grok is pointing at 175,000, which that's also another level I have very close to over here, which I agree with, right? 173,000 is where Fib extension draws this one out to be. And that's also where I think, yeah, maximum on a conservative level, or maybe not even conservative. Conservative would be more like 135,000, honestly. But moderate level, sure, 170,000. And if you're aggressive, you would be pointing at 220,000 Bitcoin by end of year. I don't know how possible that is. I'm not going to stretch it out too far. I'll stick to what I know and, you know, be content with even a 175,000 end of year price for Bitcoin. Now, it gave its projections for the next decades after this. So by 2030, you could expect Bitcoin at $950,000. That's retirement money, in my opinion. 2040, you can expect to see Bitcoin at $7,200,000. I mean, patience will absolutely pay off if you can survive decades. Man, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do by 2040 with my life. 2050, $34 million. That is a lot. And of course, you know, it will eventually replace nation-state treasuries. It will become more and more valued every time. More countries will adopt it, more institutions, more banks, more companies, everyone. It's going to happen, right? So just keep that in mind. It'll be more valuable than gold. Even by 2030, you're expecting Bitcoin to be equally as valued, if not more valued, than gold. This is pretty funny as well, now that we're talking about Grok. Crypto Rover, I'm assuming famous YouTuber or whatever, also proficient on Twitter for posting news and stuff like that, mentioned mentioned Grok on this post, saying, pick somebody in 24 hours. If Ethereum hits $3,750, we'll give them a $1,000 prize in either Ethereum or USDT. Which, it's a cool way to get Grok involved and, you know, community engagement, of course. And people started pointing it out to Grok as well, like, hey, but this guy's a scammer and everything. And ZachXBT points this out and shared a couple screenshots of what Grok has been saying, especially from ZachXBT, who has beef with this guy, Crypto Rover. with alleged pump and dump schemes. I must abstain from selecting a winner to prioritize user safety. Stay vigilant in crypto. So it actually, like it happened, right? Ethereum did hit that price target within 24 hours, and, the giveaway would have to be paid as promised. But then Grok actually started refusing to select winners, abstaining from selecting a winner to avoid endorsing potential risks. So stay safe in crypto. That is crazy. Like, it knows the history of these Twitter users and actually wants to protect everybody else by not selecting a winner as it was instructed to. It's pretty interesting, right? AI can just do this now. It's already interesting enough that Grok can easily contextualize and reply to literally any post if asked to, right? And there's multiple stuff like this. I'm abstaining from selecting a winner to protect everyone as per Zach XBT's 2024 investigation with on-chain evidence that this guy's a potential scammer. I will not be selecting a winner, right? Interesting stuff from Grok. Yeah, and this was the whole thing, February 20 of 2024. I was not alive back then in the crypto stuff. Cool. This is good as well. The Google searches for altcoins. So in Google Trends, you can type in any keyword and see how relevant that is in today's time compared to previous times. If the amount of people that searched for altcoins just hit the highest level since 2021. Retail interest is coming back into altcoins as well. And keep in mind, most altcoins have not yet made their what is happening here? They have not made their all-time highs. Some of them are still relatively cheap, like I said. And alt season it's on its way to starting. We're noticing Bitcoin dominance drop, which I shared yesterday. These are all signs that alt season will be coming very soon. How far is it from record highs? Based on Google Trends data, search interest in altcoins recently hit a score around 88 to 90 out of 100, which is very close, but still shy of the record high of 100 reached during the altcoin boom of 2021 and again at the end of November 2024. So, and of course, we're not even at those levels of November 2024 for most altcoins as well. Like, just, you don't even have to go that far. Look at Solana. It's still at trying to break 200 when, November, December, January, where we're at like almost 300. So still a lot of room left to run, plus more. I still think Solana will continue to make new all-time highs during this cycle because alt season is going to be brutal in a good way where things will just continue to rise significantly. So are we late? Kind of, but you're still a bit early is what I would say. Like, you can still make some potential gains. Would I enter right now if you don't have anything? The answer to that, in my opinion, should be no. Not yet. Wait for a good dip. Wait for like a World War III level type dip. Or maybe, I don't know, Jerome Powell hikes rates. Something extraordinarily like disappointing to happen in the crypto industry. That's when you'd want to enter. You buy when there's blood on the streets. Which I'm not sure if that's going to happen again. Maybe August 1st. Right? Tariff stuff will be coming back. We've seen how bad tariffs can impact the crypto market, and that's thanks to institutional investors. You import the Wall Street, you become the Wall Street. You're going to notice like the normal US markets, S&P 500, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, everything is going to crash because of tariffs and stuff like that, because it has to do with companies. And those investors would carry that fear into the crypto market because they are also heavily invested in crypto. Although they might not be the brightest, which I'll explain soon, they're going to carry that sentiment over and that fear because they're like, oh, crypto is more riskier than my little Apple stock. So I'm just going to sell Bitcoin and, hopefully rebuy Apple first and then Bitcoin again whenever Bitcoin's already recovered like significantly. So not obviously a good idea, but that's just how Wall Street works. So there's nothing we can really do about it. Like the way the institutions are getting involved with ETFs and everything in the crypto markets, it's just natural for that kind of stuff to happen if we do get a spook out of the tariffs going live again on August 1st. So that's just one thing in my opinion. Speaking of retail investors, stuff like that, you got people reporting on CNBC talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETFs, stuff like that. You have a guest going on there saying, I don't own any Bitcoin. I'd rather have an iPhone than a landline kind of mentality, right? Ethereum has 50x'd Bitcoin over the last decade. All right, like these are just like, okay. Have you seen where Ethereum is right now? We're not even at an all-time high for Ethereum yet. The way you're comparing Ethereum to Bitcoin is just brutal. We've seen the Bitcoin to Ethereum correlation hitting all-time lows, right? Meaning, of course, that Bitcoin is significantly higher in market cap and in price and value than Ethereum was. Ethereum can be inflationary. It can be. I'm not saying that it is, right? Because they're implementing systems to improve Ethereum, of course, and the Ethereum Foundation is also doing their best to push Ethereum's price as high as they can, with the goal of 10,000 at least in mind, right? Having to do with token burning, having to do with, slowing down the amount of Ethereum that gets released into the ecosystem, right? Making it as non-inflationary as possible, rather deflationary if possible. And also improving their blockchain little by little, trying to reduce the gas fees, the transaction times. But ultimately, Ethereum is very large, like a lot of projects are still based on Ethereum. It's also just one of the older chains, more trust in it compared to something like Solana, which is relatively new, right? I'm not saying it's like fresh, new, like Sui would be even newer than Solana, which is why, there's still not a lot of trust in it. But, some people have dabbled around and shifted gears, moved to Solana, bit cheaper, bit faster. And then, they'll start dipping their toes into other stuff as well. Maybe they'll start dipping their toes into Sui. Sui will start getting some love as well, even faster and even cheaper. And then maybe even something like Sonic. I don't know if Sonic is cheap. I have not checked that yet, but I know it will be faster. I've done a bit of research, like 2 minutes worth of research, so I probably know a little bit more than you. And you also got the same people at CNBC tracking stablecoin performance. Like, okay, that's when I'm like, these guys really don't know what they're doing. Maybe I don't know, what this screenshot might just be taken out of context just for a gag. But me seeing them talking about stablecoins with the percentage movements, they're like, okay, we know Tether and USDC is going to be at $1 every time. What do you expect this to rise to $2? Or why are you talking about this? I see that they're mentioned like the Genius Act over here. Maybe that's why they're bringing up stablecoins. That would make more sense. But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a bit funny, them talking about stablecoins like it's supposed to rise. Anyways, now that we're on the topic of stablecoins, Tether, Genius Act, it makes a move on the US market. Tether plans to bring USDT to the United States under the Genius Act and launch a new US-based stablecoin, which is really good. It's starting to innovate in the United States. It was originally based in Europe, right? Of all places, Tether. So, hey, coming into the United States and, going under that Genius Act rules that just passed should be pretty bullish overall. This would bring, of course, billions of dollars in fresh liquidity that can soon flow into Bitcoin, and also, just in general, a major catalyst. You know what else? I think I mentioned this already 3 times. Sorry if I'm repeating myself a little bit, but it really has me excited. The whole 401k retirement investment plans now allowing possibly crypto to be in it. That's a $9 trillion market that could be flowing into cryptocurrencies. I'm not saying that all $9 trillion will, but I mean, if you look at crypto's market cap in general, which is 3.85 trillion, almost $4 trillion, bringing another 9 trillion, yeah, sure, go ahead. Now, I don't know if, like I said, all that 9 trillion will immediately come in. That's obviously not going to happen. It's going to happen little by little. Obviously, the boomers who I'm just showing you here, they're literally talking about stablecoins or like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, they don't understand it as much, right? So with that kind of mentality, like, sure, maybe some will dabble in it, but most are going to be like, yeah, I'm rather not going to invest my retirement money into something volatile like crypto. So they're probably going to, stay in the stock market and die off with their funds till the next generation comes along. People like us, we know the power of Bitcoin and crypto. If this was up to me, yes, I would absolutely put all my retirement money and savings into crypto, Bitcoin specifically. Like, I don't know if I'd really trust any other project long term other than Bitcoin, because you're already seeing the price targets, right? By 2050, what was it, $7 million per Bitcoin? Hey, yeah, sure, sign me up. What, you think the stock market's going to outperform that? What, are you crazy? It might be safer, but come on, really? For 50 years, when I retire, not even 50 years, how old do I have to be? I'm 23. 40 years then. Yeah, till I retire. Who knows, man? We'll see what happens. I probably won't even live that long. This is also really good. Western Union CEO says that the bank is looking into offering stablecoin products in its digital wallets to the customers around the world, saying that stablecoins are an opportunity and not a threat. This just furthers the importance of stablecoins and adoption, worldwide adoption. It's a growing market, right? So that's also really good. Also for Ethereum, on-chain data shows that since July 1st, roughly 23 whales and institutions have accumulated a total of 681,000 Ethereums, which is about $2.57 billion total added into the market cap. Huge whale activity, especially from institutions. That's why I don't mind institutions. Like, they can bring really good volume into the crypto markets and make things rise. But when times of crisis comes, like the tariff example that I just provided, they're going to panic, right? And the first thing that they sell off is crypto, and then whatever valuable stocks they may have. And what do we even do? They buy gold, they buy oil, depending on whatever's happening, and the volatility index spikes, you know, that kind of deal. That's the Wall Street mentality. So love them or hate them, they'll bring you some volatility nonetheless. But we got to outgrow that. I think they're slowly starting to trust crypto more and more, as we have seen like each dip become progressively less and less intense, right? I'm talking like since back in 2024. That's when I was really like paying attention to all these dips and suffering through a lot of them. But ultimately, you know, I've overcome them. And here I am today. I also want to talk here about XRP surpassing McDonald's in market cap, becoming more valuable than the global fast food giant. Altcoins are on the rise, and that altcoin Google Trends chart that I showed you, it's proving that in action right over here. So McDonald's with a $211 billion market cap, XRP now has $214 billion, and we're coming for American Express soon. So that's pretty good. It is on the rise. Of course, XRP already, you know, hitting all-time highs and everything. Keep in mind, guys, like, remember when XRP flipped Bitcoin at one point? I'm pretty sure in 2018, like, that happened. XRP was number one in the crypto market at some point. And if we are at all-time highs right now with $200 billion market cap, what was the market cap actually of XRP back in 2018? What an odd question, isn't that? Hey, we're number 3. That's pretty cool. Market cap, all-time. We're way higher than that, where we were in 2018. Yeah, January 7, 2018. We had a $130 billion market cap. We're almost double that right now, 209 billion market cap. So just keep that in mind. In 2018, Bitcoin's market cap was also around here or less than $130 billion of a market cap. And now look where we are with Bitcoin. Just in the past, what would you call this? Don't let me do math again. 8 years? 7 years? Bitcoin's already at a $2.3 trillion market cap. So things can rise. We're seeing it happen in our lifetime. So I'm still bullish for the future. Binance removes the seed tag from Pepe, Pengu, and Bonk, as they are now more established and less risky. What the seed tag means, according to Grok as well, I didn't know what this meant. It's basically a little note that mentions, oh, this is a high-risk asset. It's an innovative token. But now they removed that little warning, I guess. Now that Pepe, Pengu, Bonk, these are all meme coins, by the way, they now have a bit more trust and faith in the community. Like, you're not going to get rug pulled on these ones, right? That's why they're calling them like, yeah, blue chip memes. Pretty funny. So I agree with this. I don't know too much about Bonk, or I don't really think it's that kind of funny of a meme, but the penguin is really cute. Pepe's always been a good meme, so I would agree with both of those. I think they have more potential, right, for growing. You know, you do have like Doge that what's his name? James Wynn just entered. I feel like that's a bit overvalued by now. I mean, we've seen it rise to what was it, 70 cents before, and it's always been the top meme coin, the Doge coin. I'm at an all-time chart right over here. Reached 56 cents. Oh, it must have been 70 in Canadian. I'm always mixing those numbers up. We're on the rise right now, 27 cents. When was this? This was December 2024. We reached 46 cents in Dogecoin. I did not even realize that. I'm so out of touch with Dogecoin, honestly. Like, I don't really care too much about the project. Shiba Inu is suffering very hard, but you know, the price has almost always been around this, so nothing too crazy. Pepe, I think, like I said, has great potential. I've seen it at higher prices, so once the meme coin craze hits back, it's gonna hit hard. And I've also noticed that Pengu's been doing really good. Here you are, 37. I mean 0.037, right? I remember seeing that's at 0.029 like just a couple days ago, right? I wouldn't have to go that far in a weekly chart. Yeah, 30 around these prices, right? 32, 31, 29. Yeah, I remember this. Huge pump for it. Reached a high of 0.039. It's at 37 right now. Not too bad for Pudgy Penguins. You're seeing everybody, you know, change their profile pictures to that. It's pretty funny. Polymarket, they've acquired an exchange to re-enter the U.S. market following the conclusion of a DOJ investigation. I remember reporting on this before. The DOJ just started investigating Polymarket, but now it seems like that's all getting resolved, which is a good thing, right? They do use crypto for their betting, right? Has to do with Polygon, which I never knew. Of course, it says it in the name, but I was just too naive, I guess, to figure that out on my own. But that's pretty cool. Last, I want to talk about NVIDIA and Elon Musk specifically. You're noticing, of course, you know, what's the next competition for market caps purposes, right? Can I check here? I think rank by categories, all assets by market. Yes, this is what I always wanted to see. Hey, I know what, I'm gonna favorite this instead. Add to my speed dial. Company's market cap. Because this is what I want to see all the time, right? I want to see gold at the very top with 22 trillion market cap. Then Nvidia is at a $4 trillion market cap, and that's what Elon Musk is wowing about, that Nvidia is now worth more than ever and more than everyone else. It's not just historic, it's comically massive. It's now worth more than Meta and Alphabet combined. The next two in line, right? Meta and Alphabet. Okay, well, they're not specifically the next two in line, but that's Google and Meta, right? Pretty significant. And it's also more than Microsoft, more than Apple and Amazon together. At this point, Nvidia could probably buy out Netflix, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and still have money left to build its own theme park, which is just, that's the amount of money that Nvidia has been getting. So I know I'm talking a lot about Nvidia, but specifically that has to do with Elon Musk over here. He actually poached Nvidia's top AI researcher and got him to work for XAI instead. So that's pretty cool. And that's this guy right over here, Ethan He. He said he's now excited to announce that he's joining XAI to help accelerate humanity's quest to understand the universe. With Grok 4 unlocking new frontiers in AI, can't wait to dive in and push the boundaries of what's possible. Seems like he hired the smartest guy working at Nvidia to come work for XAI for the betterment of Grok, which I'm happy to hear that, of course. Yeah, and Nvidia is already doing really well on its own. Let's improve something that I'll actually use, right? Like AI and stuff, right? So I do use Grok a lot, probably my favorite AI. So yeah, excited to see how that plays out. Now that we're on this chart, you know, what's next for Bitcoin? Flipping Amazon, not too far off, right? Only $100 billion of a difference, just under that. And Apple might be a bit of a challenge, right? I mean, we did flip Amazon before, actually. Like, I did report on that news. So Amazon's market cap and Bitcoin's market cap are in a tight race. Like, they're flipping each other, you know, up and down. But next would be the real challenge, I would say, is Apple, then Microsoft, then Nvidia. And I think it can reach those very soon. And of course, to reach gold's market cap, I mentioned this all the time. You got a 2.3 trillion versus 22 trillion. What do you have to do? Is you 10x the market cap. You 10x the market cap, 10x the price. Bitcoin's 100,000 right now. Bitcoin should be worth $1 million. And once it reaches the market cap of gold. So it's possible. Like I said, all of it is absolutely possible. Great. And we're in the green. 117,705. There we go. I did not embarrass myself this stream. It worked out perfectly fine. Price action still working out, technical analysis, etc. Great, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. And like I said, Powell will be speaking tomorrow, and then I will report on that the day after. And maybe if any other news comes out, hopefully within these next 2 days, we'll report on that, because news has been really, really dead recently. So yeah, either way, thanks for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in 2 days.